Welcome everyone to week 5 of Peak. I hope you guys are excited. We have some great content coming today. Jodi is joining us once again, and she's going to be leading a session on anxiety and managing those stresses. So lots of us live with stress every day. It could be with athletics, it could be with work, it can be with numerous different things. So Jodi is going to help us out. We're going to have some good discussions today. I'm super excited for it, so I hope you guys are too. And without further ado, Jodi, I'll hand it over.
Hey everybody, good to see you. Always love to see your smiling faces. It honestly just makes my day. So you know what, you guys, like we've talked about a lot of stuff in sessions with me, and I know you've had sessions with Frank, and so I was thinking, well, what's today? What's important that we need to talk about today? Because I don't want to just talk for the sake of talking and have you guys on here. It's really important that you get something out of these sessions. And I'm going to assume you do because you're here faithfully all the time. And I hope that they are very, very effective. Now, today, I also want to encourage you to help other people, right? Like it doesn't have to be about me teaching you something that you don't know, or Justin helping us, something, again, teaching something that you're not familiar with. Let's actually think about deep down inside how you can help others, especially when we start talking about this topic. So as we go, I'd love to see some action in the chat. I will tell you when to raise your hand or when I'm ready to take some thoughts and suggestions. We'll do a lot of it in the chat, and then we might open it up a little bit. I do like to hear from people that don't often speak, so don't forget that, again, always happy to hear some new voices as well. All right, so yeah, a little bit of stuff going on in the chat. Let's just do a quick test here, because I'm super curious about who's cheering for the Flames tonight. Who is cheering for the Flames? Oh, no, there's no thumbs down. No thumbs down. Flames, thumbs up. Okay, I will ask the other question. Who's cheering for the Oilers? Okay, see, I'm not putting my thumb down, right? We're all good sports here. We just all want the Flames to win. Go Flames, go. Leafs. Okay, well, that's a good neutral position to be in. Oh, Joe's like, yeah, I'm not sure. You must live in Red Deer. No. Although I don't understand, why do Red Deer people cheer for the Oilers? That doesn't make sense to me. You don't have to cheer for the Oilers just because you're in the middle. All right, you guys. Let's get started. Again, we'll certainly kind of keep an eye and oh, Justin, I'm just going to admit everybody, and that's kind of waiting.
Yeah, they're just taking a second to drink.
And when I'm in the, if you don't mind, once I'm kind of sharing my screen here, if something comes in the chat that I haven't acknowledged yet, maybe just throw me a shout that I should look at it.
Sounds good.
Okay. All righty. So bear with me, friends, as I jump on here. Getting my windows all set up. There we go. Okay. Oh, sorry, my dates are wrong. This is a really old slide header that I had on. So what we're going to talk today about is control. And more often than not, I'm going to jump in to talk about the lack of control. Okay. And I think sometimes this is a topic that we don't really talk about that often, but it's probably something that concerns us. And when we do have some level of anxiety and some level of concern or fear, it often shows, it often comes out as fear, but it's really a lack of control over something. And so I thought, well, you know what, let's just kind of go through some things, and let's talk about what's in our control, what's not in our control, and when something's not in our control, what do we do about it? So Jordan, just quickly, I see that your hand is up. Is there a really important question you have, or did you want to just make a statement? If it's a statement, just put your hand down and we'll come back after. Okay.
Okay, well, Jordan, you can unmute really quick.
So we have people who have to cheer for the people. So people would have to cheer for, so they had to stay in control. Like, go Flames, go.
Right. Thank you very much, Jordan. Appreciate it. Okay, guys, so this is where I would like you to jump in the chat. So my question to you is, what kind of things are going on that cause you concern? And this can be, again, share if you want to share. Don't share if you want to keep it personal and just think about it inside your head. But what are some things kind of going on right now or in the world or just in your personal thing that are just causing you a little bit of grief? Okay, I'm just reading along here with you guys. Everything, COVID, Ukraine. Yeah, and I'm honestly not surprised with any of this, not being able to see coworkers, eating healthy, awesome. Okay, yeah, you're right. Your stuff you got going on. Yeah. Cool. So again, when I said I'm not surprised, I kind of anticipated it, right? Like there's lots of stuff about COVID. It's stuff that we can't control, right? We can do our best. We have been for the past 2 years doing our best with wearing masks and getting vaccinated and keeping our distance, working from home. So these are things that are in our control, but the actual outbreak, everything that's going on, we don't have control, but it's certainly something that has an effect on us. And there isn't anybody in this chat room with us in here that hasn't been impacted. Oh yeah, look at that, gas prices, holy crow, right? Lots of stuff. So again, another thing that we're again not surprised to see in the chat here again is the invasion of the Ukraine and sorry, and kind of what's going on. Like we're all, even though we're really safe and we're really far away from it, it's concerning. And I know people are getting upset because they're watching the news, they're seeing lots of concern and sadness over in Ukraine, and we're not sure why it's happening. It seems so foreign to us, but it's having a bit of a snowball effect across the world that will cause us issues. And again, someone had said even the gas prices, and all this has an effect on what's happening overseas that has a direct impact on us, right? But we can't control it. So this is where we get into what do we do about it, right? Yeah, protests. You're right. There's lots of protests going on. Like just lots of stuff. All the trucking protests that were going on in Alberta and in Ottawa, down in the States now, right? A few things like that. And I mean, ultimately, again, what it does for us, so then we look at Special Olympics Alberta, and again, not everybody, but a lot of things have been postponed, right? A lot of things have been canceled or postponed, or programs that we really like to have for our own mental well-being. We like our programs. We want to go to competitions. Again, those of us that are on the call that are members of Team Canada that we're supposed to go to Russia. Of course, we're not going to Russia, right? So we've had to kind of go with the flow and figure out, okay, that's not going to happen. What's going to be next? What are we going to do instead? So again, when we think about things, my big question for the day, are any of these things in your control? No. Nope. None of them are. They're beyond our control. And so where we want to talk about again is, so what? Like they impact us. We think about them. We watch everything on the news. What are we going to do about it? Because it's affecting us and it's making us either sad or anxious, right? So then we need to figure out, what are we going to do? So let's just talk a little bit more about things that we can't control. Right? We can't control about what other people think. We can't control what other people do, right? Even if that's overseas in Russia, and we can't control that. What happens around us, right? That's not for us. What happens after we've done something, the outcome of our efforts, the passage of time, it's not something that we can change. And I found this, and it was very interesting to me. When you try to control everything, you get to enjoy nothing. Now, show me either on the chat or with your thumbs up, who's ever felt like they need to be in control and then they end up missing out? That's me, right? That's me. I get so wound up. Okay, good when I see some thumbs down too. That's good. But sometimes you just want things to go your way, and it has to be your way. And if it doesn't go your way, then you're confused, and then you kind of get frazzled with it. That's kind of how I am. It's like I get very rigid in how I think and act. And then I end up missing out on some fun, and I end up missing out on some really good relationships because I want things done a certain way. So just starting to realize that, if I don't actually fuss about the control part, and I kind of ride the wave a little bit, then I'm actually going to get to kind of enjoy and see what comes of life, right? So here's again one thing I found: what consumes your mind controls your life. So if it's in your head, you just kind of get stuck in there, you miss out. You'll miss out on other things that come by because you're very fascinated and kind of stuck on something. So I have to just show you this. It's fuzzy, but this is my book. If anyone is looking at me on the screen, you can see it, that I actually have this book right in front. It's called Everything is Figure-Outable. And if you are looking at me, even though I'm sharing my screen, you can see that I have a bunch of little tabs inside my book because I flagged all the different pieces of it. But it's super cool when you think that everything is figure-outable, right? We just have to find that method and find that way where we can start to find those solutions. Everyone with me so far on that? Right? Good. Thanks, Kayla. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, guys, there's a lot of crap going on, and we just have to get through it, and we have to use each other and support each other. So I'm just going to go really quickly to Amanda and then Brittany. So Miranda, what do you have to say?
When you're stressed, talk to people that you can rely on. Totally.
Awesome. Love it.
And I know what you were talking about with Romper Room, Jodi, because I'm born in the 1980s, so I know Romper, Bomper, Stomperoo.
I love it. Love Romper Room. Yeah. Thank you, Miranda. Okay, Brittany, how about you?
I'm part Ukrainian, so that's happening there. It's not good because my great grandparents were from there a long time ago, before they moved here in Canada a long time ago.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, Brittany, I'm really sorry that hits home for you, I'm sure. And honestly, how many people in Alberta have Ukrainian background? There's so many.
Like, I'm not usually from Ukraine. I'm just, that's where my grandparents are from.
Yeah, the descent.
And I was born here in Canada.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
Thank
yeah, I'm
you.
part Ukrainian.
Part Ukrainian. Tara McCorkindale, how about you?
Being nice to people and stuff, and the news that I hear about Ukraine and stuff, that I don't want to watch it because it's kind of sad for the people in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And plus, and then the gas prices gone up pretty high as well.
Yeah, right. There's these stressors that are hitting us.
Yeah, and yesterday at Village, they were doing a fundraiser for Ukraine.
Yep. It's nice to see people getting involved, right? And thinking about it. Angela, how about you?
I'm Ukrainian too, kind of. But the thing I was saying that we can't control would be handy bus,
Okay.
getting to work on time. Like for me, that's a major thing, getting to work on time. And if the bus is a little bit late,
Mm-hmm.
then I start crying
Mm-hmm.
because I think I'm going to be late for work. But
Yeah.
I know I can't control that.
Yeah, exactly. So that there's some things that you can do and to think about that and how you can maybe not cry, but come up with some other solutions too. And we'll talk more about that as we go through. But thanks for sharing, Angela. Okay, Laura, how about you?
I would agree with the Ukrainian stuff. You can't control that. But I would also say with what's happening with the Ukrainian, in some ways it's good to try and also be sort of positive at the same time, because it is very bad, but it's also good to lift up people's spirits, because when I was doing my art class today, we actually got talking about Ukrainian a lot, and at first the topic was all like negative and stuff, and then when I was looking at one of my friend's art pieces, it was all bright with flowers on it, and it just kind of made me think that, like, yes, there can be a bad situation that is happening in the Ukraine, but there can also be an end to the end of the tunnel kind of thing.
Yep. I like that nice kind of that positive spin on it when we can acknowledge the beauty of the Ukraine and maybe bring some awareness. I'm just going to take two, you guys, and I trust we will come back to you. But Alex, how about you?
So one thing you can control is the ongoing war against the Ukraine started by Russia, because the reason why Russian army decided to destroy everything in town in Ukraine, a lot of Ukrainian people were forced to retreat into Poland. And I heard the news also, and then people were so deeply devastated because they lost their homes, everything.
Yep, that's true. That's true. And we can't control over that. So how do we handle that when that causes us some anxiety? But let's acknowledge that the Russian people aren't in favor. And there's a lot of Special Olympic athletes in Russia that are struggling as much as anybody, because they also won't have their programs. They won't be able to, they just don't have the same things either as the Ukrainian athletes and the Ukrainian people that we feel badly for. So I don't want to totally consume this. I don't have answers for it. It's just I want to let everyone kind of have a time to acknowledge and think about it. because it's important for your own mental health to not let yourself get anxious on something you can't control, but let's find ways that we can still talk about it, be part of this community. And like Lori said, and others have said, like, we have each other, right? And we can always rely on each other when we just sometimes need to talk something through, right? So let's talk a little bit about what you do have control over, okay? And again, feel free to jump in the chat with it, but what do you have control over? So what do you think you can control? Yeah, your life, money, what you say, our bodies, yeah. Yeah, Cassie, good. You can control your emotions. And sometimes that's challenging, but we'll talk a little bit about that. Ooh, if we could control our weight, that's a little challenging one too. But again, something to always work on, staying out of danger. Good job, you guys. Staying safe. Yeah. And when we think about it, if you look on the slides now, again, things that are on the outside of my control in the red, again, other people's opinion, other people's actions, other people's feelings, right? Adversity, like other people's mistakes. We don't have any say in that. Where we do is we get to control our own attitudes, right? Our own effort. So when we talk about our sports and our jobs and our school, that's where we get to be in charge. No one can take that away from us, right? Our behaviors and our actions, that's us, right? And that's super important. And when we think about controlling, especially attitude, when it comes to things that are kind of bigger and worldly, again, we're looking after ourselves. So we can continue to be concerned, but always coming back to the looking after yourself, right? If anyone's ever flown and you get into there, you'll always get that safety message, right? Show me thumbs up if you've been on a plane and you get that safety message, right? And that's if you have to put on your oxygen mask, you put it on yourself before you put it on the person beside you that might need help, right? And that's super important because you need to look after yourself. If anyone's also ever taken a first aid course, the first thing they say in a first aid course is make sure your scene is a safe for you to enter, because you need to make sure that you stay safe in order to help somebody else, right? Look after yourself in order to be able to look after someone else, right? So if I go into if there's a fire and I know people are inside and I want to jump into that building, then all I'm going to do is be another victim. I can't help if I'm another victim. So you need to consider that in all situations, right? We can't help anybody if we are also damaged and sad and too sad to the point where we're dysfunctional. So look after yourself in all the different situations. So what can you do? What can you do to help yourself? Right? And again, let's focus on what we can control. So who has some ideas on what you can do? This is where we get to start sharing. What's the thing that works for you that maybe somebody else might be able to try? This is the first time I don't see any hands. What is happening? I see Miranda's hand, but do you want to say something, Miranda?
Meditation, Jodi. We learned our hot chocolate meditation from the guys last week. So meditation helps.
Terrific. Meditation, and when you're doing the meditation, it just kind of slows your breathing down, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We learned it from the guys last week.
Wonderful. Kate, that's a great one. Good, getting some thumbs up there. Leonka, how about you?
Stay positive and share your positivity.
I love it. I love it. Being positive is good. And you know what? Another word when you're just struggling with finding that positive vibe, use the word helpful, right? So if you just can't get that positive vibe, do something helpful, or even think something that's helpful, right? Even if it doesn't feel like you're in a positive vibe at that point. How about you, Keith?
Doing more good things.
Yeah.
Then I just sit and relax and listen to music.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. That's great. So again, music and relaxing, that's really key. Everyone will have, and maybe just throw this in the chat, lots of people have different kinds of music that make them feel good, and some music that makes you feel really kind of hyped up because you're going to compete. You need to listen to your music to get jazzed up. But yeah, lots of different things. But music's one I didn't have on my list. I'm looking at some of the chat, healthy eating and exercise, your rosary, very nice too. Journaling, yoga. Oh yes, you guys, this is the best part. I'm learning stuff in this community, right? It doesn't have to just be about me teaching, because look at you guys are teaching me already. All right, I'm going to go to Danielle.
Hello, Jodi. What I find is relaxing is talking to my nephew when I play an online game with him, talking with my wondered friend almost every day, and like seeing family when I can, when it's safe to do so. Also,
Nice.
I practice a lot of yoga.
Good. Yeah, that's fabulous. All those really good ones. Kaylee, haven't heard from you yet. Let's hear from you.
I have good ones are good. It's like one of my friends every time when I'm home, and even for my family.
Oh yeah, so being with your friends and family.
Yeah, that's what I do. And I used to make movies every night on Thursday and Fridays. I used to watch movies a lot when I'm home.
Nice. Yeah, that's fantastic. Cassie, how about you?
Having a pet around that can kind of understand what can kind of like cheer you up and everything, or be there when you're not feeling the best.
I love it. Again, that's something that I don't have on my list, but absolutely pets are huge that way.
Because I know when I'm not feeling good, all three of my dogs at my place are bundled up next to me when I'm sitting on the couch.
Really? And I think they just sense it, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep. I love that. Preston, how about you?
What you're saying was sites. When I'm excited, sometimes people saying when I get excited, like you sometimes for Christmas you can't wait for open a present, or you can't wait to the night in the morning you can't open the present. Thing with me, it's my birthday is coming up on March 14th. This coming up on Monday. This Monday coming up. It's taking me a while the not to nag people what I want. This is what I want to do to people. I want to don't say I want say oh where's my gift. Don't say that because that's greedy.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to say oh the kid if you get your kids if you get your gift like say okay you think like I'll get someone will buy you a gift and say oh that one wasn't I think it was one and that's greedy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something to consider for sure. Oh, I'm just looking at some of the chat as well. Justin saying what are some of the mindfulness techniques that we've learned from the Enhance Lab. I'm going to come back to you guys, so feel free to keep your hands up. We'll come back in just a second. But one of the things that's really important to do is to actually acknowledge your feeling, right? Sometimes we want to say, okay, just kind of put it away. It's in the way. I don't want to think about it right now. But everyone has feelings for a reason. And if you need to just say, you know what, thank you for feeling sad, right? Just allow yourself, give it a little bit of acknowledgement. Thank you for feeling sad, or thank you for feeling anxious. Thank you for feeling nervous. Then it's out there. once you actually put a word to it and you actually express it, it doesn't have control over you anymore, right? It's that elephant in the room. You guys have heard that saying, it's that elephant in the room. And you have to point it out. And once you point it out, it just becomes a little bit of a different, manageable thing that you can go, no, you're right. I don't need to keep feeling sad. I don't need to keep feeling nervous. I'm going to use that energy, because there's a lot of energy in your body. I'm going to use that energy and I'm going to put it towards something else, right? Something positive, something helpful. So it's always good to, you can say it out loud in front of your mirror, say it out loud just in your own bedroom, say it out loud to your friends and family. I feel ... whatever that is, just to get it out there. Okay. We've already kind of answered this, but so here's some of the tools that I've seen. Again, make sure you're getting lots of sleep. Use your sleep. Okay. I see some more hands. I'll come back to you guys in a sec. Eating properly, right? Don't forget, because again, you have to look after yourself. Like we said about the first aid situation, or that you're putting your mask on in an airplane, you have to look after yourself. Exercise, that just gets some chemicals going, right? Gets those endorphins going in your body that immediately just give a bit more of a positive vibe, so you can breathe through it, get, just feel a little bit better. You guys have been working on daily goals and bigger picture goals. Come back to that, right? Never hurts to come back and just do a bit of a recheck, a reassess. How am I feeling about that? Kind of gets your mind focused in back on you and what you can control, versus something that's a little bit farther out and not part of you. We talked about meditating, slowing your breath down. Fascinating thing, and I think I probably talked to you guys about it ages ago, but when you think about things with gratitude, when you actually take a deep breath and go, wow, I really appreciate something, whatever it is, right? I love our Mondays with Special Olympics. I appreciate Justin for hosting us. It actually changes your heart rate. It actually changes your breathing. So the minute you say something that says, I appreciate whatever it is, it changes your heart for the positive, right? It takes some of that stress down and makes it a bit calmer. So when you get really in an anxious state, just stop for a second. Okay. Now, remember, if anyone's, again, way back, we would have talked about how do you access that big part of your brain? Because the little tiny part of your brain that's deep down inside here, that's your emotional part. That's that brain that wants you just to survive, but it doesn't help process, right? It's deep, deep down inside. And it's important to have, because it keeps you safe, but sometimes it doesn't let you recover. So in order to get past that, to use the bigger part of your brain, and everyone do it with me, you need to look up, right? Everybody just do it with me. Lean back, whether you keep your eyes open or closed, but look up and just take a deep breath. Maybe take one more deep breath. And just think about something, again, positive, helpful, something about you, right? That you control. And you just look up. And that magic part of that brain up there, that cortex, that's what's going to be helpful. Okay, I'm going to go back to a few more people here. Jordan, what do you have to say?
My question. So I don't take things the way I want at home normally. So I need some help in that area. So when I'm stressed or when I'm feeling in that area, I sometimes lose my temper and running off and storming off and slam my door. And throwing things and stuff. Is that kind of normal for some people? Like I like to help my friends as well. Yeah. So I support my friends. And I sometimes help a friend out at times. And she gets a little bit nervous. Some people are friends. They normally get that way sometimes. So I just want to know if I could help them in some areas where I'm dealing with and stuff.
That's really nice, Jordan. Thanks for asking that question and being so open and honest, right? I really appreciate your comfort in our area here to be honest like that. And you know what? So all the things we're talking about what you have control over, and you have control over your reactions and your attitude and your effort. Everyone's going to need, feel the need to be angry. But when you start to think about it, when you realize that you're ramping up and you're wanting to slam your door, wanting to throw something, that's when you look up. That's when you lift your eyes up, look up and go, ooh, I'm feeling that. I'm getting there. What can I do to stop it? What can I do to slow it down? Change your breathing. Think of something that you're grateful for. Even if you're super angry, try to think of something that you actually really appreciate and make that conscious decision. So it's a work. It may not happen immediately, but just practice all the time. And you guys find a time in the day, whether it's the morning, whether it's in the evening before you go to bed, find that time of day when you can start to practice that feeling of gratitude and really work on your breathing just to slow everything down, kind of come a little bit more into yourself. Okay, Akira, hi.
What I usually do if I'm upset, I pray sometimes.
Yes.
Or use my instrument.
Okay, what instrument?
Like a drum or a little piano.
Brilliant. And those weren't on my list either. So look at all the learning that we're doing today. That's really good. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, Jordan Tyson, haven't heard from you for a while. Oh, is she there? There she is.
It is stressful for me. It is disappointing and very sad. Now, please try not to cry. Just go with the flow. Because it was Russia that got canceled. Because it is disappointing for that. Because we had to pray for Ukraine.
Yep, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, and sometimes crying's okay, right? We want to acknowledge our feeling. Yeah. Okay, Brittany.
Yeah, I like when I stressed with when I was at day program, and this is right before COVID hit, and or on Fridays I get stressed sometimes, and so my day program I just tell the staff that I'm going to go in the quiet room to take a deep breath, and then I just like count in, and then I'm going to like try to calm and relax, and then I come out, and then I do what we're doing.
Yeah, that's nice when you have access to a quiet room like that. That's certainly helpful. Okay, Alex.
So the tools that I ever use is I went to bed and I went to sleep for just 8 hours, and then I woke up and do the daily hygiene for myself, and yet I get to take a deep breath in and out, and doing the exercise and express my gratitude.
Yeah, amazing. I love that idea of the routine. Sometimes it's one step, right? Lots of people, when they feel anxious and nervous, they're frozen.
Right. Yeah.
Right? But when you have a routine, it's one step and then it's the next step. Thanks, Alex. Tara, you've been waiting very patiently. Let's see what you got.
Like if you're stressed, taking a nice bath and just relaxing.
Love that.
And calm down if you're stressed, or just go for a walk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. I just built a new house and we just put in a bathtub, and my builder wasn't understanding how important my bathtub was. And it's like, no, it has to be this beautiful soaker tub because I need that stress relief to hang out in the bathtub. Super important. And I love that. I think Miranda, maybe you put in there the bathtub with lavender. So cool, right? And a lot of people, maybe some of you guys either love it or hate it. I think it goes either way. But have you guys ever used the scents like sage roll-on aromatherapy kind of stuff? That works too sometimes. Not everybody likes to have that extra scents around, but I have a lavender scent that I put on my wrist. It's kind of neat.
The password for tonight is Red Deer. So I put in the chat, Red Deer is the password. So I just want to thank everyone for sharing, but most of all, Jodi, I want to thank you for joining us today. I do appreciate that you take time out of your busy schedule to meet with us. But next week we do have lots of stuff. So be prepared for some fun, including a dance. So we'll see you all next Monday. Have a good rest of your week, and bye everybody.